Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the council chat. Things look a little bit different on my end of things, a little bit of a new set, so I'm really excited to test this out. So you should leave comments below in the video if you're watching about how bad I sound. I am joined by three panelists today because we have a lot to talk about, so we kicked one person off the bench. On my far left, we have Mr. DeVaughn Taylor. DeVaughn, say hi.
I'm back, bitches.
Short and to the point. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, that's what I got for now.
Mr. Mathieu Chin-Quee.
I can't believe I didn't get cut, guys. This is like the first thing I've never been cut from. Thank you.
We're trying to be extra nice for May. It's like our new May resolution. That's all. At the end, Ryan McKenna.
What's up, guys? My Oilers are roasting some ducks on a spit, and I am in a great mood.
I think that was a sports ball reference.
I don't know. I don't speak Canadian. I don't know. I don't know what the hell he just said.
All right.
One of those teams is American.
No. If they're playing hockey, they're not American. So Guardians of the Galaxy. It dropped in theaters this weekend. There are a lot of opinions on it. There's a lot to talk about. DeVaughn, let's start with you. What did you think of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2?
I loved this movie a lot, actually. Just right out the gate, it wasn't the movie I thought it was going to be. I thought, the way they were kind of talking it up, they kind of made it sound like it was going to kind of be this like big tent pole for like, things moving forward. And I don't think it was. I think it was a very contained movie. It was about characters. It was all these different relationships. I really liked how the movie was kind of pairs throughout the movie. You got Yondu and Rocket doing his own thing. And then you got Gamora and Drax and all them on Ego. And then you got other Ravager stuff going on. So I just think, I think they did a really good job at balancing like all the characters and, definitely expanding on a lot of people, we really got a lot more of Drax, who I didn't think they could make him any funnier than they did in the first one. They managed that for me. They gave Gamora a lot to do in this one, which I was super happy about because that's a lot of people's big gripes from the first one. Just everybody was great. Rocket Raccoon stuff was great. Yondu was great because I love Michael Rooker, and I think they underused him last movie. So I'm glad we got some good Yondu stuff. And this is by far the prettiest movie in the MCU. I think we might all be able to agree on that. Maybe Jonathan. It depends on what mood you're in. But I think it's also the funniest movie in the MCU. Ant-Man was really, really funny for me. But then I absolutely thought this was hilarious. And fucking Kurt Russell. Like, Kurt Russell was amazing as usual, as expected. And but yeah, more after spoiler stuff.
Yes, and we will start off non-spoiler just in case. And once we're done with that, we'll get into our spoiler discussion. So if you haven't seen Guardians yet, somehow tune out in about 10 minutes. Mr. Mathieu Chin-Quee, what did you think?
So just a little background. I love the first one. I think it's my third favorite MCU film. And I thought that overall that it delivered, like it had great potential, and for the most part it delivered. But I do have a few problems here and there with its formula. It's just a problem that I've been having overall with the MCU formula, which I know it's a point of contention for a lot of people. But just to sum it up, I felt like this movie is like the kid who tries to be serious in a class, and then when they have their serious face, they just burst out laughing at the wrong moments, and they can't stop laughing. So even though I liked certain parts, like the family aspects that DeVaughn went over, and a lot more exploration into the characters, I felt that some of the forced jokes and some of the characters that they expanded on, and some of the additional characters really helped drag the film down, especially Drax. I can't disagree with you more. Drax was annoying me from the minute he was on screen to the very last scene. I wanted him gone. Batista came out and said that him and Robert Downey Jr. have a scene in Infinity War, and I hope that Iron Man smacks the shit out of Drax so he can shut him up because he's really annoying. But overall, it's kind of making me sound like I hated it, but overall, I really did enjoy it, but I was expecting a little bit more from it.
Oh, you're both giving me so much to talk about. Ryan. Take it from here.
All right, guys. I had the pleasure of seeing this twice over the weekend. First on Thursday night in a double feature after the original Guardians of the Galaxy, and then again on Saturday in IMAX. And I got to say, I really enjoyed this movie. It's not one of the best Marvel movies, but I think it was a really good film. It was a great follow-up to the original. And I think that, like DeVaughn said, it is the best-looking film in the MCU by a country mile. The cinematography in this film was superb. The visual effects work was amazing. And in a film that really tries to be The Empire Strikes Back in a lot of ways, I think that it achieved that. And I was really surprised at the end of the day to get something that wasn't just a sci-fi action film, but that was kind of a deeper character exploration. And yeah, I was really intrigued by what they did in the movie. I think I'm just trying to avoid echoing things other people have said. I think that what the film does best is really get the emotions of the story to hit. I think that because it achieved that is why I like it as much as I do. I'm not 100% on board with the film. I think it's got some bad jokes in it. I think it has some weird editing choices from time to time. But I really had a great time. I think it's a worthy follow-up. And I'm excited to see where James Gunn and company are going to go with the cosmic universe, because so far they haven't let me down.
So has it moved at all in your rankings since you first saw it?
No, it hasn't.
No, because
it moved up in my superhero list rankings, but it has stayed stable in the Marvel list rankings.
Okay, you sound a little bit more positive. After I went home from the movie theater, I called Ryan and we talked for about an hour because I had a lot to get off my mind. So my take on Guardians is it's not significantly more negative than what we've heard so far. I'll be honest. I did not like Guardians of the Galaxy. I did not hate Guardians of the Galaxy. It is, in my mind, a barely bad movie, thanks to comedy elements that we've talked about already. I went to a kid analogy just like Matthew when I first saw it. This movie felt like that kid who is unable to handle anything serious, so he's always just cracking jokes whenever anything depressing comes up because he doesn't know how to handle actual tension. Every single time this movie got some steam behind it and got some energy going, and suddenly we started to care about the characters, bam, a joke would come out of nowhere and it would just be completely unneeded and it would completely derail everything, and you end up getting a movie that was paced like this, this constant up and down, which I couldn't make me care about what was going on in the movie. There are so many great things about it. Like everyone said, it's absolutely visually stunning. I really enjoyed characters like Yondu and Nebula. I thought they were handled very, very well. Kurt Russell as Ego might not be my favorite Marvel villain, but it is definitely better than 10 other villains we've gotten in the MCU, so that's definitely good. But in general, my major problem with the movie just boils down to the fact that I don't think this movie knew what it wanted to be. At one point, it is a by-the-numbers MCU movie that kind of fits the superhero journey they want to have. And on the other hand, it's a quirky James Gunn movie that's crazy and out there. And on the other hand, it's just a random hodgepodge of all elements shoved into one. I feel very similarly to how this movie was constructed as I felt about BVS after I saw it. It felt like 4 different movies competing for one cinematic space, and I didn't like it. So we're opening up the gates now for spoiler talk. I'll let you guys take it from here. What spoilerific things did you like? Did you not like? Let's talk about it.
I did love this movie, but that's not saying that I think it's perfect or flawless or anything like that, because I mean, it definitely has its issues. I think it is, even though it is paced really well. I mean, for a 2-hour 15 movie, you definitely don't feel it.
Oh yeah.
But what I think that they did wrong in the construction of it is, they got so wrapped up in this family aspect and all the character stuff, and then they tried to tie everything together, and I think they did for the most part, but then there was no real big climax. There never really was a climax, I don't think. It just kind of, but I felt like I was here this whole time. And then, so, I mean, getting into spoiler stuff, I bought into Kurt Russell and Star-Lord and Ego. I bought into it. Like, I felt like, Chris Pratt and Kurt Russell really gelled well together, and I think with the whole dad thing and the celestial stuff. I think that's really interesting. Like, I thought that was a really cool thing to give Star-Lord for a minute. It's also a negative for me because I think they could have done something cool moving forward with that if they had let Star-Lord keep some of his powers.
Mhm.
But the absolute, people talk about some of the emotional beats in the MCU, and, you got the Tony and Cap from Civil War, and, you got some really good emotion there. The scene where Kurt Russell, when Ego tells Star-Lord that he gave his mom the tumor and killed her, and like Chris Pratt's reaction, like that's I think that's probably like the most emotional I've gotten, like watching like a scene, like one of those kind of emotional scenes. And so that kind of sealed the deal for me. So even if I didn't get like a big climax like I wanted, and then, we get another sock to the face at the end of the movie as well with Yondu. So, but I'll let somebody else talk about that. I'm not going to talk about everything.
On that note, really quick, did anyone else? I loved that scene with Chris Pratt. I thought that was played so well. I thought their dynamic was incredible. Did anyone else have any trouble like tracking that as the same Star-Lord from the rest of the movie? Because I never really took the thing about Guardians 1 is I kind of always took Star-Lord a little bit seriously. As much as he was making jokes, he felt like a protagonist I could get behind. In Guardians of the Galaxy 2, it felt very, very toned down on so many levels that when it got to that scene, I bolted up in my chair and I was just like, this is what I've been wanting to see the whole movie. Was that tonally off for anyone else, or am I just weird?
I didn't get that feeling from it. I really thought that I thought that this is true of like most of the characters, that they sort of developed a comfort with one another that you can sort of tell somehow on screen. And I thought that the way that worked kind of showed where Chris Pratt was going to be. I think the moment where in that same scene where they're talking, where he like shouts at Ego that he had to watch his mother die, was like one of Chris Pratt's best acting moments that I've seen, outside of Zero Dark 30 and Moneyball. So I was really impressed with what he did there. And on Ego, just for a second, I think that the Ego is Marvel, like, and I'm not a person who like bemoans Marvel's villains like a lot of people do, but I think Ego was Marvel's most compelling villain since Loki, for me anyways.
Yeah, comfort was the exact word I was going to use to describe John, what you were feeling with Star-Lord. Like at the beginning, he's so set in his ways, considering the fact that he's presumably been with the Guardians for the last 3 years at this point. So they've developed
2 months.
Yeah, I was about to say it's 2 months.
2 months. Oh, never mind.
4
then.
months.
Okay, 4 months. I thought the
9
MCU,
months, 7 months.
for whatever amount of time they developed a good rapport and they're really comfortable with each other. So you don't see those vulnerabilities from him until you get to that scene. And that scene is by far and away my favorite scene in the movie. Like the building up to that scene where Mantis says that, oh, hey, look, there's a problem here, which I actually have a problem with how it was led up to that, but the actual scene itself, the tension there, and you can slowly feel the build. And I'm sitting in my chair, I'm seeing, the little egg things showing things. I'm like, oh my God, no, he didn't. Ego's the villain in this. It was a twist, not unlike how the Hydra twist was in Winter Soldier, where it's organic and you believe it, and it still shocks the shit out of you. Like you're like, I can't believe this is happening right now. And the final nail in the coffin is the fact that Ego killed Meredith Quill, Peter's mom. And part of the reason why I think Ego is Marvel's best villain, and I am someone who rags on Marvel's villains, not just because I like to rag on it, but because I believe that there is potential to be had with their villains and they waste them most of the time, which I think they do it on purpose just to focus on their heroes, but that's a discussion for another time. But the fact that Ego, he does these things because he personally believes it's right. He only kills Meredith because he knows that she's holding him back, and that he feels like he has a sense of duty to take over the planets and have control. And he doesn't really believe he's doing anything wrong. He doesn't understand. I think that makes him one of the greatest crafted villains that Marvel has. And he had to be defeated, But it would have been really cool to see him as a recurring villain.
I mean,
in the future.
I don't think we've seen the last of him. I mean, because I agree. You know, it definitely ties in with you know, he's immortal, he's bored, and he finds the sense of purpose. So like, whenever it was, you know, revealed that he was the villain, it wasn't, I mean, a real twist for me, but at the same time, I like still felt it. I still bought in because he definitely sold it real well. And then oh, go ahead, Jonathan.
And when they kill him, it's because Star-Lord knows how to kill a Celestial all of a sudden. So I have a feeling that they might explain it down the road later as, oh no, he just changed forms, or because I don't necessarily know what comics lore is for how to kill a god, but I have a feeling that there's a back door there that he could have escaped out of just because of the way everything went down.
I mean, he's a god, so I don't know. I don't think we've seen the last one. But on a side note, I absolutely loved Rocket Raccoon in this one. Like they made him so the scene in the forest was so badass. Like I love that. That's one of my favorite action scenes in an MCU movie. Like for real. Like it's just something very different. We haven't really gotten something like that. And like he like almost took him out like Batman. But and it was so great. But then I really loved his rapport with Yondu. I thought, like I said, Michael Rooker is such a wonderful actor, and he really brought a lot to the role. And then that's when you feel it when he dies. Yondu dies. I'm sorry if you still haven't seen Guardians. Yondu dies. He dies.
Why are you still watching? We warned you.
He dies. But yeah, no, I felt it. The Ravager funeral was real cool. I thought that was real interesting. It was gorgeous with the dust and everything. I really enjoyed this movie. I have a few problems with it, but they're minor problems. Like I thoroughly enjoyed it. I had a smile on my face the whole time. I laughed the whole time. I loved it.
Yeah, I want to touch on Rocket for a quick second. He's my favorite Guardian. Like everything on the table here. I love Rocket Raccoon, and I love that, you know, they didn't fix all of his problems from the first movie, because he's still very temperamental and kind of a pain in this movie, and I liked how that through line continued, and they had to deal with that. And I think that one of the most powerful emotional moments in this movie for me was at the end when he shoots Gamora up with the like taser gun thing.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, I can only afford to lose one friend today. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm dying right now. Like I can't even process this moment. So yeah. But the animation on Rocket in this movie was like beyond phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The character of Rocket kind of shows one of my weirder issues with the movie, though, because at the end of the weird, like, photo booth face morph scene where they're jumping through portals,
that was
scene. After that scene,
weird.
You get this really heartfelt moment between Rocket and Yondu, while you're still reeling from thinking, "What the fuck are you doing, Marvel?" And then suddenly Yondu and Rocket are having a heart-to-heart, and I'm still going, "What we were laughing at your weird." Like Illumination studio level face morph there. Like what are you doing, movie?
There was like Scrat from Ice Age.
Yeah.
The movie does shift a lot for sure.
There was a lot of moments where if I could cut my own Guardians and like chop off entire scenes and like end scenes earlier, there is like a 5-star movie there for me, because the elements of the family dynamic and the character depth is so beautiful. It's just
family.
Yeah, exactly. How many times did the word family appear in this movie compared to Fast and Furious?
It did. It was a lot.
Oh, I didn't count. I should have counted for this.
Whenever I'm going to go see it again this week, and I will count.
All right, yeah.
We need to make
for reference. Fate of the Furious has 13 families. So.
Yes, exactly. We need to have like a bar graph that we share, and we can make that go viral. It's like Guardians,
family analytics, and just send it to Vin Diesel so he can see which movie scene was picked next.
But no,
well, actually, on the topic of Vin Diesel, I thought going into it, I thought I was going to be really tired of Baby Groot. Like, they were promoting him everywhere.
Yeah.
And I thought he was used really well in this. Like, I like how the Guardians were kind of like almost raising him, and he is just this innocent child who's going around just trying to find his way in the world. And not to mention, he's really super cute. But the scenes he was used in, he was used well, and he wasn't overdone, unlike Drax was with his comedy. So going into it, I thought Drax was going to be one of my favorites and Groot was going to be one of my least favorites, and it ended up switching. So I'm really happy with what they did with Baby Groot in this movie. Although I think there was a missed opportunity in the post-credit scene for teenage Groot to be doing other unholy things instead of playing on a video game. I thought that's what they were going for, but
I would have said that joke would never make it in a Marvel movie, but after Guardians, there's no line anymore.
There was some weird scatological humor in this. I was like,
I have a penis.
A lot of dick jokes. Yeah, a lot of dick jokes for a Marvel movie. Most dick jokes by far. Like if down there had a hand, I could land this plane.
Yeah, like what the hell?
I think when he's like, if I had expected that going in, I think I might have appreciated it more. But I was so just blindsided as I was sitting there. Like I was sitting there, and there were like children all around me, and I was like, I don't know if your parents expected this.
I feel like James Gunn like revised the script one more time after Disney approved it already. He's like, like just a very last minute, or maybe it was Bradley Cooper. Who knows?
No, actually, that touches though on a negative that I had that kind of ties into what John was saying. Like with some of the scenes, like having like one joke like punctuating them that like was like, did you need to do that? So, like, for example, when Ego introduces himself at the campfire, he's like, well, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, now I need to go take a whiz.
Yeah.
Like, you could have ended that scene with Gamora saying we need to go take a walk, but instead you have him go take a whiz and then have Gamora say, we'll go take a walk. And I was like, I really didn't need to hear Kurt Russell say I'm going to need to go take a whiz. Like, I could have done without that.
And I don't think his delivery of those more awkward lines and moments was all that good. Mm-hmm. Like he felt
he's probably not used to it.
He seemed very uncomfortable. All of the scenes that like I bring up the Hallmark movie "Let's Go Play Catchball, Son" moment as another moment where his performance there is so stiff and it looks so out of place and his smile is so plastic.
I actually want to comment on that go ahead. So that Hallmark scene, I didn't like it the first time around, but I enjoyed it more on my rewatch because, like, I was thinking more about the context of that came in and like why Chris Pratt really needed to throw a ball around, and then the emotions of that scene hit me more, and I was like, damn, I just want to go throw a ball with my dad. I was sad. It's like,
right? I remember throwing the football. I was like, I got it. And like, it was a nice little callback. Like, it was like an interesting little, because there was the scene where, Star-Lord was going off and was like, I didn't have somebody to play catch with.
Yeah. Sort of like the 6 David Hasselhoff callbacks in the movie. 6.
And his random cameo too.
David Hasselhoff moments.
The random David Hasselhoff cameo.
The random David Hasselhoff cameo. And in the credits too. He was there in the credits for some
very end of the credits. Yep.
Same with Jeff Goldblum, which was interesting.
I missed that.
What? I missed that.
Yeah,
he was one of the dancing people in the credits.
Mm-hmm. In preparation for future films.
Yeah, for that Hallmark scene, I think that Kurt Russell was a little bit stiff, but if I'm going to play devil's advocate, I think it may actually kind of fit the character for that scene if I'm reaching a little.
That's what I was going to say. Just
because after seeing it, he's playing this part of he's trying to lure his son in, and that's if he's a Celestial, he really doesn't understand the human emotions, that he wouldn't be as good with that. Then again, judging by all the bodies of his children, he probably has done this plenty of times. So you think that maybe he would have some practice doing it, but
can we say that Sylvester Stallone's horrible delivery was because he was trying to make himself look incompetent, or?
Oh,
That
Sylvester
was.
Stallone.
We only got 2 scenes of Sylvester Stallone. It was still too much.
He was like,
I only liked it because
and he said Yondu weird. He was like
Yeah.
Yondu. It's like
Yondu.
Do you want to
Yondu Danto.
and say you're saying it wrong?
like he was doing his like weird like Rocky,
Yeah.
like late Rocky, like Rocky 5 kind of business, and I was just like,
They even like tried to give him a mini monologue in the 5 minutes of screen time he had. They're like, get Stallone to do this, and he no.
Yeah. I kind of
I have
saw where
expected
they
him
were
to-
going with him, but like it was also really badly executed.
Yeah, when I have expected him to just go on about how Donnie needs to train for his next fight or something like that, or how Paulie and how everybody left him, and now like he's going through cancer again or something. Just like from a speech right out from Creed, and like because all I saw was Rocky. Like that's all I saw. Old Rocky, sorry, but like
It looked like Rocky 492.
yeah, Rocky in space. Rocky.
192. But speaking of new characters, Mantis. I want to talk about Mantis for a second. I see that face, John. But I want to talk about something good with Mantis first. On the good side of Mantis, wow, she impressed me, her acting ability. Like the way that she like when she would have to go into her empathic moments and would have to like immediately jump to whatever emotional state that was. Like the shifts that Pom Klementieff does were really excellent. The moment with the laughter was really funny. And the moment that she touches Drax and we finally get to see like the embodiment of Drax's sadness was incredibly powerful, and I really enjoyed that. On the negative side of Mantis, this movie is really mean to her. Like really unjustifiably mean to her. And I was like, what? Like, like what?
You are disgusting.
Why are you doing this? Why?
Drax is
You wanna
supposed to
say
be
something?
awkward and uncomfortable, not a douchebag.
Like almost misogynistic, but I mean, it is Dave Bautista, so it's just kind of like, well.
Like I said to Ryan that night when I was on the phone with him, there's a way to easily fix this, and it's at the very end when he says "you're beautiful." Just cut it there. Just cut it there. Don't have him include that last jab. Just let it go, and now you can be like, oh, he's learning, and like they're growing, and maybe he was just hiding things by being mean, but no, on the inside.
I bet you if you go on Tumblr right now, there are shippers already writing fan fiction. I'll bet you anything.
All right,
So
let's do it.
I think it still works.
That I don't want. I just want
And
to
it's
say
probably
I think
really
it still
toxic
works.
and unhealthy, and it's probably really bad and teaching people really bad relationship concepts, and it's probably shit.
I found
That's
them.
Tumblr for you.
like they did, but they just didn't need that at all. Like she's not disgusting looking. Like it's like hard. Like it's it's really hard to like say when you have this like hot girl sitting next to you, even despite antenna.
He even said, I prefer a little meat on my bones in one scene.
You did say that.
I'm imagining having, what does he say? It's like having relations with you.
He's a douche Drax.
And Drax was my favorite character of the first movie on the Guardians team, and I really wanted to love him. And this movie, I was just like, the first like 10 minutes I was on board, and it just got worse and worse and worse and worse.
I think that Drax suffered from having too many jokes. Like he definitely had to bear the brunt of the jokes. So he had some like really great zingers, but then he had a lot that were just like, I didn't land. But
The script beat
him.
down.
They were all him, so it was like, okay. Drax.
A lot of stuff really worked in the script, but they just did it too much.
Yeah.
I just read Drax Mantis fan fiction.
Oh God.
Uh,
Put it away.
I
told you.
don't want to
told
do
you.
it anymore.
Do we need to come back to you, Matthew?
I can complain about Drax for a bit. He was annoying, and I want him to die.
But he's apparently indestructible. Also, that was something that really
Yeah.
bothered me when he's like getting bashed by the trees as
I know.
the spaceship makes re-entry into a planet system.
Isn't that why his skin's blue? Because he's, I don't know, got tough skin or something.
But he was able to be pierced by Rocket or by Groot in Volume 1.
Yeah, and he got pierced by the arrow in the post-credit scene too. By
And the arrow.
Oh, yeah.
That arrow can blow holes in people, but at the same time, it was operated by Sean Gunn, so I don't think it was going too quick. Also, Sean Gunn was pretty good. Like, I kind of liked it.
I liked him. I thought that was a funny little scene.
Hollywood nepotism working out.
I thought that Drax's my favorite stupid joke from him was like the nipple joke. Like, it was just so stupid. Like when Chris Pratt puts the rock, like the jetpack on, and he just screams out my nipple. I'm dying, and I know it's stupid, but it's so funny.
I thought it was funny.
Common denominator humor, and I'm crying. It's so funny. I want to believe that was ad-libbed. Like, I really want to believe that was ad-libbed.
Dave Bautista's legendary ad-libs.
Yeah.
So I think we end on nipples.
And we're ending on nipples. All right. So now is where we transition to my favorite segment of the show, the first time watch segment, where we go over movies that we saw this week that we really want to recommend to you or make fun of or whatever. Starting us off tonight, actually, let's end on a high note because Ryan's got to go, but I'll start off. This week, I would like to recommend to people that they all see a movie that is on Netflix. It is called 6 Years. This is a coming-of-age movie starring Thaisa Farmiga. So right off the bat, it is right in my wheelhouse. What I'll say about this movie, definite pro to anybody who sees it. It is 80 minutes long. So you start it, you can probably finish it. This coming of age film is very, very indie. It's very slow paced. It's very much so a slow burn. There's a lot of really, really just scenes that just show life, that just show people just interacting. It's about a high school. It's about a 20-somethings couple who have been together for 6 years. And they've grown and changed, and they're about to move on to new things in their life. And their relationship is starting to get a little stale. It's not working as well as it used to. The way that the relationship is portrayed is so unapologetically genuine and real, down to it being genuinely awful sometimes, that I really, really appreciated it. It is not a movie everyone's going to love. I didn't think it was a phenomenal movie myself. I thought it was a very good movie, but it's not something I'm going to give a 5. But it definitely earned its emotional beats, and it was very, very well performed by the leads. And I would really recommend it to anyone who likes coming of age or indies or just wants an 80-minute movie that is going to wreck them to the core emotionally, which kind of limits the range. But so yeah, 6 years. Go check it out. It's on Netflix. DeVaughn.
That sounds right up my alley. I need to get my feels here pretty soon or something. But so I came from the Overlook Film Festival last week. You know, little braggy there. But it was awesome. I got to see a lot of awesome movies. I saw a total of 10 movies, I think. And but the one that I was the most excited going into, and it turned out to be my favorite movie of the festival, was The Bad Batch. If anybody remembers that trailer that dropped, a couple months ago, and it was just batshit crazy. It's exactly that movie or that trailer, but in movie version. Like, what you see is what you get with this thing. If that is your style, there's maybe 25 minutes of total dialogue in this movie. It's almost like a long form music video because it has this killer soundtrack behind it. It has Keanu Reeves. He's a DJ with a mustache, and his name is The Dream. If that doesn't excite you, then you're not going to like this movie. But it's actually probably my favorite Keanu Reeves performance, like, to date, almost. Like, it's actually really well acted by Keanu Reeves. It's well acted all around. Jason Momoa, I haven't been as psyched up for Aquaman just because I don't know his acting range really. I just know he has this presence. We actually get some acting out of Jason Momoa in this movie. Like it's a lot of physical acting because, like I said, there's not a whole lot of dialogue in this movie. But basically, it's a cannibal love story is what's described as. That's pretty much that. These people, They are cast out into the desert because they are deemed unworthy for society. There's no laws out there, and there's kind of a divide. There's a place where, you know, the better ones just party and stuff, and then there's the cannibal meatheads that kill and eat people. So it's very bloody, it's very violent, but also has, like I said, it's gorgeously shot. It's from the director of A Girl Walks Home at Night. So if you've seen that movie and you enjoy that as well, definitely check out The Bad Batch when it comes out. I think it comes out in June. But yeah, very bloody, very stylistic, good performances all around, and you will not recognize Jim Carrey in this movie. And he also literally does not say a word.
June 23rd,
fantastic.
just so y'all know.
June 23rd. So yeah, definitely check out The Bad Batch. I watched the trailer, knew I was going to love it, and ended up loving it.
What about you, Matthew?
I saw one that most of you have probably already seen. This Is the End. And I know John is a big fan of that one. So I tend to watch comedies by myself because I'm a loser. So it's hard to make me laugh because comedies are usually better watched in a group. But this one had me laughing the entire time. I was sitting there just on the screen just laughing and almost crying because I was laughing so hard. I particularly just loved the absurdity of it, of the actors playing themselves and making all these meta jokes, because it is so batshit insane, this movie. It is so crazy that you can't help but laugh. I particularly also liked all the Canadians in the movie, but I'm upset they didn't make enough Canadian jokes. And the ending, I actually don't have that much to say about this movie other than I loved it. But the ending is amazing just because of the Backstreet Boys, because the Backstreet Boys are my life, and I love them, and I'll fight anybody who doesn't like them. So This Is the End was absolutely hilarious, and that's about it, all I have to say for it.
And Mr. Ryan McKenna.
So I got the joys of first time watching a Coen Brothers movie this week, and that is the film Inside Llewyn Davis. I know, I lagged on it. So I want to recommend this to anybody who wants to watch a good movie, because this movie is kind of for everybody. It's very musically enjoyable. It's a movie about a folk music artist who is kind of unlikable, and you played by Oscar Isaac, and he just kind of goes through a few days of his life, and you get to see him jamming with a bunch of other people. And I just thought it was like a really delightful movie, very well shot, very interesting. It ends in a very Coen Brothers way, so that might turn a couple people off. But I think that it's an impeccably well performed movie, a movie with like really enjoyable music that you might not get around to listening to on a day-to-day basis. And one that you can dig into and appreciate the characterization. And if you want to watch it now, it is on Amazon Prime Instant Video. So should help people, especially down here in the United States, get to it. So check out Inside Llewyn Davis.
All right. Well, there we go. We are going to end the show tonight on a game of Last Man Standing, which is always fun. Last week we did a Guardians of the Galaxy edition, and we didn't do a few notable actors, but those notable actors have very small filmographies. Now, there is a very small role in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, spoiler alert, with a character who has been in a lot of movies. IMDb tells me 129. Let's see if we can do this one, guys. Tonight, we are putting the spotlight on a guy you see a lot in the background, maybe not as much in a lead position. Ving Rhames.
Oh, great.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, my God. Are you serious?
I'm just curious if this is going to work, because Chris Pratt's been in like 4 movies.
I can name all those movies.
We can do Chris Pratt, but I'm just curious if you guys know some classics Ving Rhames has been in.
Let's try this.
Okay, DeVaughn, start us off.
I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry.
Who's next?
Matthew.
Oh, Mission Impossible 3.
Yep.
Oh, phew. Oh, my God.
Mission Impossible 2.
Mm-hmm.
Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol.
I think that's incorrect, but let me check.
No,
I'm
What?
pretty sure.
Oh,
I
he's
think he's in that one. I think he's in that one.
Okay.
They go
I
to
really-
Japan in that one.
I really hope he's in this one. Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation. Is he not in this one?
No, he's not in the fifth one.
Ah. Okay, well, that's all I had. I only had Mission Impossible films, to be honest.
Yep. Okay.
Well, Mission Impossible 1, because nobody said it yet.
Yeah. I was kind of waiting for that one, but DeVaughn.
Was he in The Longest Yard?
I can double check.
I feel
He's
like
been
I've
in
seen
some-
him in that movie. He's been in some prison
Pretty
movies.
big classics.
Well, I've at least got 2.
If I'm out, I don't even care. I'm just glad that, because I don't think anybody was going to ever mention I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry on this show.
He was not in The Longest Yard.
Poop.
Oh, I know
Ryan,
what he picked.
give us one.
I'm going to give you my favorite movie Ving Rhames is in, which is the glorious Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction.
I was hoping someone was going to name that one. That was kind of the
Marcellus
big one.
Wallace.
All right,
he
well, that
was
was
in
short-lived.
Rogue Nation.
Okay, let's do Chris Pratt then, just because that was kind of that didn't work as well. Matthew, start us off on Chris Pratt.
I just want to say that he was in Rogue Nation. I shouldn't have been eliminated, but
Oh, really?
yeah, he was.
I'm sure he was not.
I just looked it up and it says he is. But I don't really
Okay.
care. I'm just
Matthew's
arguing
still
for
on.
arguing sakes. Okay.
Matthew, Chris
I don't
Pratt.
really care. Moneyball.
Her.
Oh. Zero Dark 30.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
The Lego movie.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
10 years.
Uh,
Oh, he's, thank you.
Wanted.
Oh, shit.
Oh, Chris. Jurassic World.
Damn it. Hold on. I can do this.
There's some really big ones left.
Oh, shit.
I don't know. Moneyball 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Okay, Ryan.
DeVaughn next.
That's the one next, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
We screwed up the order.
Shit. He voiced another role. I got nothing.
Ryan.
Oh my. Oh, I just.
Okay. Matthew is gesticulating wildly.
I just remembered the big ones that he's talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, motherfucker.
they're-
What is
they're
it?
kind of,
What is
they're
it?
kind of notable.
I got nothing.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Okay, so he was in 2 movies last year, neither of which were mentioned.
You promise?
The
Yeah, promise. No, he's lying to you.
the always rememberable Passengers.
Oh, motherfucker.
Oh,
I know, right?
that
See,
movie
exactly.
came and went.
The Magnificent Seven.
Oh, yeah, I should have known that one.
Gem and the Holograms.
Wait, really?
He was in movie 43
That's a
in a
cameo.
segment that if you have seen movie 43, you will never forget. But
I haven't.
oh my gosh. Okay, so for homework next week, Ryan is watching movie 43.
Ryan is not.
it's terrible.
For homework next week.
It's
Also,
terrible.
Delivery Man, Jennifer's Body, and that's basic.
Jennifer.
Oh.
That's a
Oh
throwback.
my gosh, it's not an episode without DeVaughn's mic fucking up, and we have officially finished an episode.
Huzzah.
DeVaughn's
The
mic.
bees!
So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the council. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. We had a lot of fun as always. Let's start us off by plugging his channel and everything he's doing. Mr. Scratchy Mike.
Of course, guys, can find me on. Is it doing it?
Yeah.
Is it doing it? Wait, now.
Yeah, just keep going.
You're good. You're good.
Fight through it. Just fight through it.
Yeah, somebody else go. I'll go last.
Matthew.
You can follow my stuff on my website at Shifter on Films. Look for my sports articles at Geeks Gamers. Look for news articles at Schmoes Know. And if you're in the group, watch out for the new trivia game that we're working very hard on. It should. We're aiming to start sometime next month, so look out for that. It's going to be really fun. We have some really great questions made up for you, and we're really excited.
What about you, Mr. Ryan McKenna?
Well, thanks, guys. Go Oilers. We won 7-1 tonight. You can find my stuff on geeksgamers.com or Merc with the Movie Blog or Schmoes Know like Matthew. You'll find me just trolling around the group. And go check out that Wonder Woman trailer. It's cool. But don't watch it if you don't like context to your scenes.
I'm just laughing at Ryan saying that he's trolling around anything. And Mr. DeVaughn.
You guys can find me on Twitter at Deezus12. Catch my podcast on Twitter at Deezus TT Real. Deezus Take the Real every Tuesday. I got to do some awesome stuff. I actually released 3 episodes this past week. Been busy, but check it out. And I do, if you're an iZombie fan, I do another podcast on TV Ate My Brain about it. And I just wrote my first article for a website. I had an article published on Promote Horror for the film festival. So I guess I'm going to start writing some more again. So, yeah.
And you were able to fix the microphone, so we're good to go.
Definitely go check out his episode with Alicia Malone. It was
yeah,
amazing.
The Red Fury herself.
Fuck Jason.
And Alicia and Perry are both very hot in person, as you would assume. That's just saying.
I would have never guessed.
I want to meet Perry.
And I'm Jonathan Youngblood. I am your faithful host here. Check me out at Youngblood_95 on geeksgamers.com and on the secret project I'm about to go work on after we're done here. Bye.
Bye.